Scorpio, my steady soul with fire under the surface, listen to me carefully because what I'm about to say is not casual background noise for your day. There is a shift building around you, and it is moving fast. Money is rushing in, not as a random stroke of luck, not as a lottery ticket, but as a response to everything your spirit has survived and everything your heart has quietly held together when nothing made sense. As we move toward November 17th, 2025, the energy around you is rearranging itself, like a tide turning in your favor after years of pulling against you. You did not land on this message by accident. You were pulled here, the way the moon pulls at the ocean, the way destiny pulls at a soul that's finally ready to receive more than survival. So before anything else, I want to ask you, deep down underneath the worry, the bills, and the tired thoughts, can you feel it? That little flutter in your chest, that strange calm that shows up for no logical reason, that quiet voice that says, something big is coming. That is not anxiety, that is alignment. That is your spirit picking up the scent of a breakthrough that your mind hasn't seen yet. What we are doing here together is not a guarantee, not a promise printed in stone, but it is a mirror. This narrative is a reflection of one powerful possibility, a timeline that exists in the field of your potential. Think of it as a soul experiment, a story whispered into your awareness to wake up what has been sleeping in you. If this message resonates, if it makes your intuition sit up and say, yes, that's me, then receive the parts that feel true. If it doesn't, let it drift by like a cloud across a wide sky, because not every story is for every soul. This is spiritual guidance and symbolic insight, not financial, legal, or medical advice. The numbers, planets, and cards are here as languages of energy, not as contracts. You are always the one with the power to choose, to discern, and to act with wisdom. Let this be an invitation, not an instruction, an opening, not an obligation. Now, Scorpio, breathe with me for a moment. In through the nose, out through the heart. As November 17th draws closer, there is the sense of a door slowly unlocking in the background of your life. Astrologically, the energy around that date feels like a bright crack in a wall that used to be solid. The cosmic weather suggests a meeting between your drive and your blessing. Mars, that sacred fire that rules part of your nature, reaching out symbolically to Jupiter, the planet of expansion and generosity. You may not know where the opportunity is coming from. A delayed payment, unexpected support, a client reaching back, a project suddenly approved, a chance to earn in a way that feels more aligned with who you are now. But your field is already shifting to make room for it. It's as if the universe is leaning in and saying, I saw everything. I saw the nights you stayed awake wondering how things would work out. I saw the times you chose integrity over shortcuts. I saw you keep your heart soft when the world tried to harden you. Now let me respond. But here is the secret many people forget. Money does not only follow effort, it follows frequency. You have worked hard for a long time. You know hustle better than most. The real shift around November 17th is less about working more and more about no longer working against yourself. Think about how often you've held your breath when something good came toward you, waiting for it to disappear. Think about how quickly you've apologized for wanting more, as if desire itself was shameful. This is the pattern that is being rewritten now. The energy of this date is like a gentle hand on your shoulder, turning you away from the story of, I always struggle toward the truth of I am allowed to receive. You are not being asked to become greedy. You are being invited to become open. The tarot archetypes moving through your field right now echo the same story. Imagine just for a moment that the Ten of Pentacles is laid out in front of you, not just a card of cash, but a card of roots, legacy, stability, the long-term kind of wealth that allows you to exhale and finally stop living from crisis to crisis. It speaks of support arriving from places that once felt silent, family, institutions, long-standing connections, or something as simple as the return of what was always owed but never delivered. This is not a lottery win energy. This is the ground finally catching up with the seeds you planted years ago energy. But next to it in your spiritual storyline stands the Ace of Pentacles, that fresh golden coin hanging in the air like a divine offer. A new income stream, a chance, a job, a project, a proposal, an idea that could grow into something substantial if you treat it as holy instead of doubting it to death. Still, Scorpio, you know more than anyone that nothing new truly arrives without something old being challenged. Behind the scenes, the tower energy hums softly, not to curse you, but to check. What still lives in your mind that says you are not worthy of ease? Where do you still equate wealth with danger, success with abandonment, or abundance with losing yourself? The tower in this context is not a disaster, but a cracking noise in the foundation of old beliefs. A conversation around money that makes you uncomfortable but honest. An overdue realization that the way you've always done it is quietly draining you. A situation that forces you to admit, this cannot go on like this. And in that moment, a tiny, invisible door opens. The huge financial surprise hinted at in your title is not just a dollar amount. It's the moment your inner wiring shifts enough for more to flow without leaking out through self-sabotage, undercharging, people-pleasing, or fear. On or around November 17th, you may receive a sign in the physical world that mirrors this inner shift. It might be as obvious as an email, a deposit, a contract, or an offer. It might be as subtle as someone recommending your work, paying you a compliment you needed to hear, or giving you information that changes how you see your value. Pay attention to the small things that day and the days around it, the receipts, the messages, the coincidences involving numbers like 8, 17, or 88, the conversations that suddenly turn to money and worth. The universe rarely announces blessings with fireworks. More often it sends a whisper and waits to see if you lean in. When your intuition nudges you, call them back. Check that account. Open that email. Say yes to that meeting. Raise your price just a little. Honor it. These are not random impulses. They are the way your future is knocking. But let's come back to something deeper. The way you feel inside when you think about money rushing in. Does your body relax, or does it flinch first? Many Scorpios have been conditioned to expect loss right after gain. You've been trained by experience to prepare for the other shoe to drop. And so, even as your soul calls for abundance, another part of you quietly fears it. Fears being seen. Fears being asked for more. Fears becoming a target. Fears that if life finally becomes easier, some hidden punishment will follow. This is where your real spiritual work lies. The alignment around November 17th is not only external, it is an invitation to heal your relationship with receiving, to sit with the belief that says, I always have to struggle, and ask it gently, who taught you that? To trace back the memories of being told that money is dangerous, selfish, sinful, or temporary, and to notice that those beliefs were born in people who were scared, not in the divine wisdom that created you. The law of attraction, when stripped of all the glitter, is heartbreakingly simple. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you believe is possible for you. If deep down you believe, good things never last, then even when money does arrive, you'll treat it like a stranger who's leaving soon. You'll rush to get rid of it, overspend, overgive, or ignore your own needs. The lesson around this financial surprise is not, can I get more, but can I keep it and let it bless me? Can you imagine wealth as a friend sitting at your table, not a storm passing through the house? Can you imagine being trusted with more because you've grown into someone who doesn't use money to numb their pain, punish themselves, or buy love, but to create safety, beauty, and rest? Scorpio, part of your soul contract in this lifetime is to transform dense energy into something sacred. You are an alchemist. You turn endings into beginnings, grief into wisdom, suffering into depth. Now you are being asked to do the same with money, to stop seeing it as dirty, evil, or shallow, and to start seeing it as a neutral force that expands whatever it touches. In your hands, aligned with your heart, money becomes shelter, education, healing, support, freedom, and the ability to say no to what drains you. When you understand that, you stop hiding from it. You stop pushing it away with phrases like, "I just need enough to get by," and "I'm not the kind of person who gets rich." Instead, you begin to say, "I'm the kind of person who can be trusted with more because I know what to do with it." So what can you do practically to anchor this November 17th energy? You don't need a complicated ritual. Start small, but do it with intention. The night before or on that day, sit with a piece of paper and write down the old money belief you are ready to let go of. Maybe it's, "I always struggle," "I don't deserve more than others," or "Every time I get ahead, something goes wrong." Write it clearly. Then underneath it, write a new sentence that feels slightly uncomfortable but more true than the old one. Money is allowed to stay with me. I can receive without losing myself. Or, I am safe when I have more than just enough. Feel the difference in your body as you write. Then fold that paper and hold it over your heart. Breathe. And when you're ready, tear it up or burn it safely, saying, "I release this story. I welcome a new one." This is not magic in the fairy tale sense. It is magic in the energetic sense. You are telling your subconscious, "We are done with this pattern." After that, I want you to take one concrete, grounded step that aligns with a future where money flows more easily. Maybe it's sending that invoice you've been delaying. Maybe it's raising your price slightly to reflect your true effort. Maybe it's opening a savings account, even if you only put a small amount in it. Maybe it's declining unpaid labor that drains you. Maybe it's applying for the opportunity you've been talking yourself out of. The universe loves movement. When you pair inner release with outer action, you become a magnet. Not a beggar, not a chaser, a magnet. Your colors around this time, energetically speaking, are deep emerald green and warm gold. Green to soothe and heal your heart around receiving, to say to your nervous system, "It's safe now. We're allowed to feel supported." Gold to remind you that your value was never a question, only your awareness of it. Wear these tones if you can. Place them in your workspace. Let your eyes land on them when you worry, and remember, you are shifting from survival into stewardship. You are not just asking for money, you are asking to become someone who can hold it with grace. And of course, this energy doesn't exist in isolation. It will ripple into your relationships, your choices, your conversations. As the financial current changes, notice who celebrates with you and who goes quiet or uncomfortable. Not all silence is evil, but some of it will reveal who is attached to the version of you that always had less. Don't let guilt drag you back down. You are not betraying anyone by rising. You are setting a new pattern for what is possible. Sometimes the biggest financial surprise is realizing that you no longer apologize for your blessings. You stop shrinking your wins. You let good news land without immediately adding, "But it's not a big deal," or "I was just lucky." No, Scorpio. You were not just lucky. You were consistent. You were honest. You were faithful in the dark. This is what alignment looks like when it finally comes out into the light. As this message comes to a close, I want you to put your hand on your heart, if you can, and feel that steady rhythm. That is your true currency, your life force, your presence, your ability to show up again and again. Money amplifies what is already there, and what is already there in you is depth, loyalty, intuition, and a soul that refuses to give up. On and around November 17th, 2025, allow yourself to see any financial shift, big or small, as a conversation between you and the divine. A wink, a nod, a gentle, "See, I didn't forget you." Even if the amount is tiny, treat it like a seed, not a scrap. Bless it. Give it a job. Let it know it's welcome to grow. If this message has stirred something inside you, a hope, a tear, a quiet finally come, then ground it. Speak it into the field. Write in the comments, "I am ready to receive aligned wealth," not to impress anyone, but to hear your own soul declare it. Let it be your yes. Let it be the moment you stop only praying for miracles and start partnering with them. Like the video, if it resonated, share it with someone who is also tired of carrying fear around money, and subscribe so that when the universe has another whisper for you, you'll be here to catch it. Scorpio, money is rushing in, but more importantly, you are rushing back to yourself. And that, more than any number in your account, is the richest thing of all.